Great.
Okay.
All right. So thank you everyone for joining us. I did disable the little dingy things for people to come in, so we won't hear when people come and go. But welcome. I am going to go ahead and begin sharing my screen so you guys know what you're here for today. Let's see here. Which screen do I want? This one. All right. Okay. Let's present. All right. So tonight we're going to be, well, you guys are all here for putting the pieces together. So our district mid-year report training. I am your lovely host for tonight, your Department of California Leadership Chairman. And just for sake of people knowing when we did this, November 18th, 2025. So I know in our audience, we do have our distinguished Madam President, Susan Baker. She said just to call on her to wave, but not to speak. So we'll get her talking a little later. I also know that we have some past department presidents among us. So I'm not going to name all of you because unfortunately, now that I've started presenting, I can't see everyone, but I do appreciate you guys being here. And I will be calling on you to share your wisdom a little bit throughout this tonight. And we also have our Vice President also present with us this evening, Tracy Furco, and I'm sure she will also be hopping in and helping here and there as she also assisted with the unit one.
Becca, I will be right back. I've got to be on another Zoom call right now, but I will be back in 10 minutes.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I don't believe we have anybody from other departments with us this evening, but if you are here, welcome. So tonight's agenda is pretty straightforward. We are, going to, I welcomed everybody. We are going to be understanding the reporting structure. So kind of like how our report falls in with the overall reporting. Your role as a district officer and chairman in the entire reporting process. We're going to be talking about reviewing the reports that you're getting, what you need to be doing, as well as completing your district mid-year report. And then we'll just quickly wrap up and we'll also have questions and answers. So let's see here. If I click on things, it takes it away. All right. So within the state of California, within our department, we have this lovely reporting structure where the units on the far left are kind of at the ground level. And then from there, we have the district chairman and officers. They are acting as a middle point just because we have so many units within the Department of California that they help to liaise between the units and the department. So for us, our annual reporting, our mid-year and our end-of-year reporting starts at the unit level. Units are going to compile their information, pass it up to district, and then district chairman will take it from there, consolidating everything, passing it up next to the department level. And at the department level, we have all of our chairmen there. We will collect the almost 30 reports. Well, we have 30 district numbers, but not all 30 districts. So for District 1, I think District 9 and District 30, we actually get the reports directly from the units. So for those three particular districts, they bypass the, units, they bypass the district and go straight to department. But everybody else, you guys fall in this little area. And then the department chairman, after they get their reports, which is why we need them from you all, is that we have to consolidate everything yet again. And then we forward that on to the division for the state of California. We fall within the Western Division. And then after our reports go to division, then Western Division chairmen are going to consolidate all the states that they have and pass it up to national. So if we have a breakdown in this anywhere where we're getting tons of no reports or no activity, then we are not able to give the full story of what's going on to national. So with that, that is why you guys have a very important role as district chairmen and officers. Essentially, like I mentioned before, you are the liaison. So while department chairmen are reaching out to you specifically to give you information and filter it down, we're also looking at you to help collect the information and filter it back up. And you're going to be doing this by contacting your unit chairman. And if your program doesn't have a chairman in that position, then you be working with the unit president or whoever they have appointed to fill in for those empty positions. But ultimately, it is the unit president's responsibility to make sure that all programs have reported. Uh, Also, your role is to make sure that units are submitting their report to you, their mid-year report, by December 1st. You are also responsible for tracking which units have submitted and those that haven't, because if they're not submitting, you need to be reaching out to them. You're going to also be making sure that your reports are coming in by email or mail only. If you're receiving them by photos or text messages, they're not going to be easily viewable most of the time. They don't print out well. And, just because a report is submitted, if it doesn't come in a readable format, then it's of no help to you. You're going to be reviewing those reports and we're going to take a look at some. And then we also really want this year for you to follow up on anything that says no activity. I know that Madam President has given, I've heard some direction that she's actually likely going to be having our department chairman, and Madam President, please correct me if I am wrong, but that you were probably going to be asking us to remove the no activity because the intent is that likely you have done something within a program and we would like you to read through the report and we want to see that you've read through it by marking like the answers no or saying zero, if it has a numerical answer that it's looking for. And then that way we're hoping that we're going to be capturing even more information. So again, with your role, you're going to be consolidating all of the unit data that comes in into a single district report. And then your role is also submitting your completed report by
Can you see
December
it okay?
15th.
Yeah.
They're on camera. Taste it.
See this.
Um, Madam President, or any of our past department presidents, would you like to elaborate any more on if I missed anything of the role of the district chairman or officers for when it comes to reporting?
Rebecca, I'd like to add one thing in that I think in the past we have said repeatedly that just turning in a report that says no activity, and even when as far as putting no activity on there for them to check was okay. So that mindset right now is kind of hard for people to get over. So I
Okay.
think we need to stress that to the, I mean, even back to the unit chairman and district chairman too.
Right. So you are right, Glenda, that in the past, checking the box for simply writing no report was acceptable. And I think that where the request for asking people to actually now read through and check yes and no, it stems from uh, simply just maybe people not reading it. I think it was Tracy mentioned in our last training that when she was membership, she actually received a membership report that said that it had no report, that no activity, but yet they were transmitting members. And, so they obviously had activity within the membership program, but they were saying nothing. And so it was, well, why would a unit decide to do that? Is that just because they don't have time and they don't see the importance, or did they just not read, type of thing? And you'd honestly be really surprised when you read through these reports that we're asking everybody to complete. You might really find out that, hey, I do something like this, even though it wasn't maybe a planned activity. You still have under community service, somebody donating blood is going to count as community service. Your unit might not have had a blood drive, but somebody donating blood counts. Flying your flag at your house falls under Americanism. And so just taking that time to look at them. I also know that in our unit report level training that we just did, we were even recommending, I think Joan was the one who said, have a party, where you get together and you write all your reports together. My unit actually just did that, not necessarily a full party, but we did gather together and we had a brand new chairman, and she found it extremely beneficial to go through and hear what was on all of the reports, and she was able to contribute what she was doing. We were all able to kind of elaborate what we were doing, and I think that our unit report is now even more complete than if it was just a single chairman doing it.
Rebecca,
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to add to that. Just because your unit may not have a particular program, say you don't have a chairman for AEF and you don't actively work that program, the unit may have made a donation to AEF National. That's activity, and that should be reported. So if you check that no activity box, that donation goes unrecorded and it doesn't get reported anywhere.
And I
That's
think,
why I want to get rid of the no activity box.
and I agree, Susan, and that's what happened in my district. We received some that said no activity. And our example is, because we all do support AEF, but our example is most of our juniors are now adults. And a lot of our units don't have any juniors, so they're really not working the programs per se. But I tell them, did you buy junior raffle tickets? Did you donate to department? And they say, yeah, then that's your activity. And you put that on your report. And if there's not a place to put it, you add it yourself at the bottom. I
Right.
donated this much money to this, and I donated this much money to that. So I agree that even if you don't work the program because you don't have enough people, because we've got a few very small units in my district, they're all donate money, so they all have something to say.
Something to report. Yeah.
We just spent too many years saying, just turning in a report with no activity is saying that you reported, just so the district could have 100% reporting from that unit. So we just really have to change that mindset that it's not okay to do that.
Right.
And so I think that's where our district chairman and our officers are the ones that are gonna, kind of have to help us,
Right.
help the units, holding them accountable and saying, asking those questions. Well, did you buy a wreath for Wreaths Across America? Did you attend one of these Zoom trainings that, leadership has put on? Have you listened to the podcast, like type of things? Just asking those questions, they're going to find maybe they haven't hosted a leadership training, but they've, joined in here, or they listened to a podcast, or, they went to Clovis or something. Those are all things that can be reported. So,
And we need to keep in mind that national says we underreport by 85%.
Uh,
oh my, that I did not know.
Yeah.
So that's really shocking. And here I'm worried about over-reporting and inflating what
No,
I say I
well,
do.
that was their point exactly, was, don't be afraid of over-reporting, because, the norm is we underreport 85%.
right.
Makes sense. especially when we look at our units. And if you only have maybe 10 active members that are coming to a meeting, but you have a membership body of like 50 or 60, you're missing likely what they are contributing to on their own time,
Exactly.
And they don't share it.
Right.
which is why it's important to capture everything we can. So, with that, good grief, I'm going to have fun here. Okay, so understanding our forms. So we talk about these lovely forms and we say they exist, but likely you probably maybe don't know where to find them. And so with that, I wanted to go ahead and take a moment to highlight where they are so you can, if I'm doing this right, yes, it is. Please tell me you all can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Is it showing the website?
Uh-huh, it
Oh,
is.
fabulous. Thank heaven. Okay. I don't have time for a tech issue
Wonderful
tonight.
when things work.
Exactly. So we have our department website, which is CA Legion AUX.org. And I am having problems.
Just a minute. Could you ask whoever's talking to mute themselves?
I'm actually just going to go through, I think, and mute everybody real quick.
She was over talking you. I'm sorry.
No, I was trying to mute her as well. So it happens. Okay, there we go. So, okay. All right. So our department website, the web address is calegionaux.org. And right here underneath this bright red banner with Madam President's beautiful pin, we have this black banner. So if we go under resources and then down to forms and select it, you come to the forms page. And there's a lot of great information here. We have citations and certificates, links to go back to your committee and programs, to find their forms. But down here at the very bottom, there is a link here at the bottom left. It says See Mid-Year Reports. So we're going to click on it. A window opens up, and then all of the district level forms, which is what this training is about, is located right here on the left. So they are available in Word and PDF. If you click on PDF, it displays really lovely. For whatever reason, maybe it's just me. If I click on Word, it oftentimes opens up in Google and it doesn't look right. At least that's my experience. And so what I often do if I have to open up a Word document here and I want to save it is I right click on it and then I go down to Save Link As, and then it allows me to save it into like my downloads folder. So that way it bypasses Google making it look funky for me. I don't know if any of you have that situation, but I do, and that's the little tip or trick. So we have here for district forms, AEF, Americanism, Chaplain, Children and Youth, Community Service, Constitution and Bylaws, Education, Historian, Junior Activities, Leadership, Legislative Membership, Music, National Security, POPI, PPP, Public Relations in VNR. Those are the district chairmen who need to be tracking everything from their units and doing a report. Let me close this out and see if I can go back to where I was. This is going to be fun. Not that one. See, now you guys are going to get a glimpse here of all the stuff on my computer. I'll do a plug really quickly. Apparently, if you use this lovely link, it's available through Facebook and you purchase on Amazon, it goes to the Children Spirit of Youth, I think, fundraiser for the national president. Just saying. Okay. Use, okay. Let's see here. Is it going to, okay, fantastic. Am I back to my understanding forms, I'm hoping? Thank you, Joan. All right. So our mid-year forms are kind of like a progress check. It is a good way for us to do a brain dump of everything that has occurred so far. It's also a great way to pay some time forward to yourself for later. We do so many things on every day of the week, different times. And if anyone else is like me, you probably forget half the stuff that you do. So hopefully, everyone, unit members are, recording their time and what they're doing and their travel and, money spent, all of that, so it can be later captured. The end of year report are the kind of the final results of everything that was achieved by the year's end. So by doing the mid-year, you're halfway done to the end of year, type of thing. And end of year is also where awards are given for 100% reporting or best supplemental. And we're not going into supplementals in great detail. That's above and beyond the mid-year report forms. So we'll do that later. They also include really basic information. So contact information, it's uniform on all the forms. Questions regarding each form is specific to a program, and those questions are specific to it. Typically, they follow code, and they also are following the program. I'm going to forget the name of it. It's the program outcomes, I think. What is it? I'm drawing a blank, but it's like what national wants us to be focusing on specifically. Um, and I should have it, but I don't at the moment. And then of course there's often narrative space to describe, some of the things that are going on. So adding in the answers of the what, the how, and the impact, not just strict numbers. So I pulled up some forms really quickly just so you can see that they truly are uniform. Mid-year report forms up here at the top. I'm going to have membership here on the left, then we'll look quickly at leadership and then at education. In the upper right-hand corner of the form, it gives you the time frame for which these reports cover. So May 1st through November 30th. It's going to ask for your district number, your your name, the total number of members, seniors and juniors within your district, your telephone number, and your email address. Then we're also asking for the units that have activity. And hopefully, because everybody is going to be filling these out, and maybe even if it's just one item they're able to report on, we're going to be able to say every unit in your district is reporting. Hopefully this is a big fat 0 with the number of units with no activity. And again, because you've been doing your role, that we'd also have a big fat 0 for the units that did not report. And then in here is literally, these are consolidated versions of what was asked on a unit report. This particular one is asking about supplementals, and then it does tell you who the department chairman is with their contact information. And then down at the very bottom is when the report is due. If we look at leadership, it's going to be the same format. Apparently I didn't ask who had activity and everybody else. I guess I get to call myself out. But again, it is a consolidation of all the questions, of what the units were asking. Again, information about supplementals, my contact information, and the date that it's due. And then if we look at education, it as well is the same exact format. So everything has become definitely more uniform as we progress.
Rebecca,
Yes, ma'am.
you're talking about the national reporting guidelines that
Thank
these
you. That is
forms
it.
are modeled after. Yeah.
Thank you. I couldn't remember the name. And those are found on the national website under your program. And I believe you might have to actually log in as a member
You
so
do.
that you can see those member only resources. And if needed, I can always create a little video of how to get into those items. I have no idea what my cat is doing. So, all right. So you saw really quickly what your district report forms are going to look like. On the flip side, you have to be tracking and compiling the versions that are coming in from the units. So there's a lot of different ways to do this. And I have some up here on the screen, but I was curious if any of our past department presidents could maybe share how they have tracked incoming unit reports so that they can kind of keep everything straight when they have done in the past their district reporting. Anybody want to unmute and share?
Yeah. What I do is I make a spreadsheet for, I have all my district, my units, and then I have, did I report received, yes or no? Supplemental, yes or no? And the date I received it. And that way I have it all on one paper. I can just go in there and put it in real quick and I don't lose somebody. And then I have a special folder. They all go in there. I put that on top. So I just, then after the original one is made, I just, put in the date, do it. And it goes real fast. I don't lose anything that way.
Yeah,
Not,
there's a lot of organization needed, that's for sure.
I find that's easy for me. I just make a spreadsheet.
That's how I do it as well.
Yes, I agree with that, Rebecca. And it's can be easy if also the members want to turn in the worksheet that National has, if they just want to turn that into the chairman at each meeting, the unit members.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it kind of gives you that as you go along and you can keep your spreadsheet up. But one thing I'd like to mention, I'm back on the form for membership. When it had up at the top, how many members do you have? How many seniors and how many juniors? I really think that needs to be taken off. There's been so many questions in the past about as of what date. And any chairmanship I've had, I've never used that for anything.
Okay.
It's a lot of confusion for a lot of members at the end of the year, and they're calling saying, okay, through what date? Is today's date, or do we do it through, book reports date, or do we, and they have to turn them in before that, so that's way too late. So I really don't know of any use for that on and Joan and Susan help me, but if I'm missing it, but it's just a lot of work for the chairman.
No, I
That
agree with
it
you,
goes
Glenda,
nowhere.
because like you say, they don't know what date to use.
Yeah.
The reporting period is May 1 to November 30. So what do we use? Do we wait till November the 30th and put it on then, or the date that we're doing the actual report? So it's very confusing. And if you have 10 units in your district, you're going to get 10 different answers.
Right. And it doesn't go anywhere. That's the main
No, it
point
doesn't. It's not used for any purpose whatsoever that I'm aware of.
that I've ever seen. No.
Well, again, this is a great thing of when we're looking at all of it together, we find things that, we can eventually improve upon and, what may and may not be relevant.
Yeah.
Diane, I think you unmuted yourself. Would you like to
I,
add anything?
I did. I omitted that because it didn't serve me any real purpose to know what the membership status was as of this reporting. And I couldn't quite figure out why we even have that on our form. So I'm really glad you guys touched bases on this because it left me confused quite a bit. So copy, it's not there.
It's not on all of them. So we need
Yeah.
to make them a little more uniform. But you're doing a great job of that, Rebecca. Thank you.
Thank you.
I wasn't doing them, but that's okay. I'll take the credit.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't see Liz on here. I would thank her.
No worries. So, well, there's so many moving parts. And so,
Right.
even we, even we have to keep track of things and make little notes, so that's okay. But yes, there's so many different ways of tracking and compiling. Maybe you use sticky notes that, as you receive it and you put on there that it's recorded or whatever. Um, I've used another method in the past, which was I printed off a blank district form, and then especially things that had numbers, like how many units did this, or whatever. I literally, as I recorded each one, I just put the little tally on the thing, and then on that question on the blank form, so it's like, oh, this unit did, there's a tally mark. This unit did, another tally mark. Oh, I'm gonna kill my cat.
We can't hear it.
You cannot hear. That's great because he just knocked over a flower pot and it fell
Oh.
like 3 feet. Okay, so now everybody for time and posterity will know because we're recording. But um, there's just so many different ways. I do on this next little
Rebecca,
screen.
I'm sorry, you have a hand up.
Oh, I have a hand
Trish
up.
Brooke-
I
yeah,
can't see. So whoever has
yeah.
a hand, oh, Trish does. Yes, go ahead, Trish.
Hi, yes, I know, I was really happy when all the forms for mid-year had the same date. That really helped. But I noticed that last year on, I believe it was community service, it didn't have a section. It had the whole year.
So for mid-year, it would be the first half of the year,
Yeah,
and then end of year would be the entire year.
okay.
So because um at least the way I would look at it, and was that the first year was kind of like a brain dump, but the end of year was your chance to modify anything that happened during the first year. Maybe you admitted, so there was more to add, but it just wasn't. Now you're only reporting on the second half, and end of year is everything.
Correct.
So.
Okay.
So one of the ways, as you heard, many people, our past department presidents use a spreadsheet. And so I quickly kind of just made one up for leadership. Since I'm the leadership person, I figured it was only right to pick on myself. And what I essentially did was the first column, I labeled it as the unit number. So you could pre-fill yours in and whatever units there are. Then as to better prepare for it, the ones here going across the top, I have no idea where he is, but I can hear him. My cat, sorry. Um, if you read through your form, like question number 1 says, please provide a total number of members within your district who participated in any of the following leadership activities. So if they went to Clovis workshop and the unit had a number here, say I'll use my unit 694. I'm looking at unit 694. I put 694 here. If anyone attended Clovis, I'm going to record their number here. Anybody who attended Southern, I'll record it here. And I literally made these columns based off of what the questions were. And then the nice thing is once your spreadsheet is kind of filled out, you can tally up everything, get out your final a clean copy or your form, and then you can transfer everything over, but just the totals. That's another way of doing it. See. So another thing that comes up a lot of times is we see information that's reported on, your particular form, but then you realize that it really didn't belong to your program. And so the question is, well, how do you handle it? What do you do with it? The first thing is I would say don't ignore it. They definitely want to report it, but this is the opportunity that we have to help educate, help mentor our units and say, this is really great information, but it doesn't go in my report. It goes over here someplace else. Um, I'll use community service as an example, and that would be they say that did a they collected food for a food bank, but the food bank that they donated everything to was at their local military facility. Well, while collecting food for a food bank in general is community service, when it went to the food bank at the military facility, then that falls under national security. And so um, there's so many times where our programs, it can go in multiple places, but at the same time, it's also just a misunderstanding of what your own program encompasses. And so, reach out to those unit chairmen or reach out to the unit president and say, like, hey, it doesn't have to be chastising, like you did this wrong, it doesn't go on mine, I can't do anything with it. That's not helpful. What you can do instead is literally say, hey, this is really great information, and I want to make sure that I'm helping you get it captured where it needs to. And so, even if you already have, especially if the deadline hasn't passed, or if it has, say like, hey, reach out to the other chairman and let him know, like, oh, you omitted something, can you modify it? Um, but try and get things on the proper forms. The other thing you can do as a district chairman is also, if you get something, I don't know, that's um listed under community service but should have been an Americanism in your community service, reach out to your Americanism chair and say, like, hey, you might, I got this information, I'm going to reach out to the unit and let them know, but encourage the Americanism person to do the same thing. Hey, I heard you had some really great event that occurred, or you guys were doing some fabulous um flag flying at your house and you have tons of hours to report. Can you update your report and send it to me? And then, so we're capturing everything. To my past department presidents, Madam President, Tracy, if you're back on, how else do you handle information that is not appropriate to the report that it's on? What feedback can you provide or guidance?
I think that really about the only thing you can do is contact that chairman and tell them that this is on my report,
Right.
and it should be on yours, because it shouldn't be something that's in the statistical report. It would be something that would be added as a comment. Does that sound right, Susan?
Yeah, I think so. Unless they're reporting statistical data,
Right,
you
but
know.
that would be a particular space on that form for that
Exactly. Could
statistical
be.
data.
Yeah.
So that would
Yeah,
be
yeah.
hard to
But no,
say whether
I
it was
think,
through something else.
yeah, reaching out to the well, let's see, it would be the unit chair or the unit president, and just
Right.
saying, yeah, I'm questioning something on this report from this unit, and I'm just wondering, don't you think it might be, better in another program, and help them find a place for it?
Right. Don't just say it doesn't belong on mine.
No,
Find a place for
this
it.
is such a great thing. I hate to overlook it.
Right.
Let's put it, find a home for it. Yeah,
What
yeah. You
what
have to do a little work.
what I do is I contact the chairman and I let him know that this is such good information. And you can use the information here, but you can only use the the amount of money, the time spent, all the numbers can only be on one report. But and the most where it belongs to, like if it's veterans issue or your example, it should have been over in probably national security instead of over here in community service. Yeah, definitely say I donated to the community serve. We this unit, whatever, donated to a food bank, and it's a military food bank. So all the data has been put on the national security report. So that way they get it in their head if they write it and mention it. To me, say it, read it, talk about it. It helps me remember. And then that way, maybe next time they'll remember. But that's what I do. And I make it clear that you can't put on all the reports all the hours. That's when you are duplicating. Only
Mhm.
the report that it belongs in gets to carry the monies, the times, and the number of people and all that business. That's what I do.
Yeah, likewise.
Right. I was just saying, it would be hard to know if they're just giving you a dollar figure, that part of those dollars would need to go to something else unless it was mentioned, down below in their report. Unless they'd written something in about doing that activity there.
So we have some questions in the chat that I see. So one of them is saying the food pantries at a Defender's Lodge, would that go under national security?
No, it goes under VA&R.
Are you saying, what are you calling a national defender?
Oh, so
No,
it's not a
Defenders
national defense,
Lodge.
it's a Defender's Lodge.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's definitely VANR.
right.
Susan.
You were
And
saying
then,
defender and I was thinking first responder, sorry.
okay. And then another question that was asked, and it's great of Tracy to bring it up for us, was do these forms change year to year? Yes, they should be changing year to year because the focus of national could be slightly different year to year. We might also have code change that changes maybe, trying to think what a great example is. Um, the the service member of the year used to be under PPP, I think, and now it's under national security, right? Wasn't that one happened a couple years ago?
Yes.
Yeah.
If they're
So,
honored at the PPP luncheon.
right, honored at the PPP luncheon, but where it lived in code changed for who awards it, type of thing. So, so when there's code changes, our forms should be being updated. When there's a change in focus from the national chairman, our forms should be updated. As we mentioned, removing the no report. So kind of how our culture within our organization is changing. We're trying to mirror all of those things. So, removing the no report, maybe moving the membership count, type of thing of the seniors and the juniors. If culturally we're no longer doing that, then our forms need to be updated. And that responsibility falls under the department chairman for making sure that their reports, because we are the ones who make them for everybody else, that they're asking the things needed, and then removing anything that is now outdated. Okay. So with all of this, you now have a whole bunch of information. And so you have everything that you need to complete your puzzle or your district report. So your next steps are going to be to send it to the right place. So your district mid-year report forms go to the department chairman. And you likely will also want to send a copy to your district president for their own district records. Also, please be aware that some districts may also have other requirements. Maybe a copy goes to your secretary or to your historian. So this is the basics. Make sure it gets to the department chairman and the president, but also then adhere to anything that is unique to your own district. Also, make sure that your district report is submitted by December 15th because your department chairmen are relying on timely submissions as well so that they can do the next part of the hurdle or the race to get it off to Western Division. And then make sure you stay organized. Use those spreadsheets, sticky notes, put them all in a folder, but keep a copy for your files because you may find that a unit at the end of year maybe omits something that was really phenomenal that they reported on the mid-year, and at least you'll have a copy of it so that you have more complete records. And just as a reminder, your report helps all of your units within your district, and the entire department shine brighter. And hopefully we won't have, what was that statistic? 80 something percent,
85%.
85% underreporting. Hopefully we can get to 100% accuracy in our wildest dreams. But it would be nicer to definitely have more accountability and uh, really showcase everything that we do.
Yeah, and bottom line, that 85% then doesn't get to the Legion to get to Congress to help our veterans.
Exactly. So, are there any questions? Looks like we maybe have more in the chat, or at least it says I have a new chat. Where do I report monetary donations to Pendleton Animal Shelter, community service, or national security? I would think only that because it's going to, I'm assuming by Pendleton, you're meaning it's Camp Pendleton. They have their own animal shelter there. It's probably specific to their military community. I would think that's national security. If it was like the SPCA up the road from you or Animal Friends Network or something, these are ones that we have in the Monterey area that aren't military affiliated, then it would go under community service.
Yeah, I would put it under national security. It's on a base.
Right.
I'm sure there's other questions. Don't be afraid. This is safe spaces.
Rebecca, I just want to say one thing about that last slide. When it said send a copy of your report to the district president, for record keeping, most presidents aren't keeping the records, the secretaries are. So I would say just, the district president needs to know you did it, so that's not a problem. But I would add for us, we send a copy to our president and our secretary, because it's actually the secretary responsible for keeping the district records.
Okay.
In case people, that way, if the district president goes and her book doesn't get passed on, sometimes it doesn't work that way. The secretary usually has it all.
Excellent point. And I can amend that slide before sending it out as well. Any other questions?
Yeah, but you did say that was individualized to the districts as to how they want it.
Yes.
Yeah, but adding secretary in there does make sense. Yeah.
Boy, you guys are so quiet.
Most of us have been doing these reports for a lot of years, so
Yeah.
we've seen lots of changes, and I think in the last couple of years, the changes have been good changes. So I think it's made things more understandable and easier. So
I totally agree with you, Joan.
Yeah, it's getting better.
good
We just
job.
have to keep after it.
Yeah,
This
well,
is
like I say, it's evolving. We're evolving all the time. And just look at the difference in reporting. For end of year, units can send their report to national all on their own. It doesn't have to come like it used to from the district. So, the department chairman. So, I mean, things are changing.
That kind of leaves the department out of some things, though, that are kind of, it's like,
Well,
maybe we, I don't know.
I said the same thing, Glenn. I wonder if this is their way, but,
Yeah.
and I guess being the job I had this year and be able to make official visits to other departments, things are really done differently. I'm amazed, at just the two of the visits, how different they are from what we do. It's quite surprising to me.
No, you sit there and you go, we don't do it that way. Whoa.
We
To
do.
yourself. You're not saying it to them, but
Most
you're
definitely,
thinking to yourself, oh my God, what happened?
we do a lot more. We
right.
actually do a lot more. So it's just different and things change. And I think maybe that rule came up because a lot of smaller departments don't even have districts or counties. So
Right.
they have to have the ability to send it, or they never could win a national award. So that could be one of the reasons, like Alaska has no districts and no counties. Everything goes straight to department that way. And, I don't know.
Wow.
It's just things are different. Some are good, some are maybe just different. We don't understand. I don't know.
Oh, we have questions now, Rebecca.
Yes, we do. So, to Trish, yes, this is being recorded, and as soon as we get out of here, I will be uploading it to YouTube, sending out the link to everyone who had RSVP'd for this training. So they will get the link, and then we'll also get it posted up on the Facebook page of where to go watch it. But it's going to be on YouTube and Auxiliary Horizons channel, where the podcasts are and where the last recording was.
Thank you.
We also have a question about supplemental information. Um, so I also have, before I go into supplementals, I know that Marianne Rocha, I think it was, and Debbie had their hands up. So Marianne, do you want to ask your question, and then I'll go back, and then Debbie, and then I'll go back and talk about supplementals.
Well, mine is part about the supplemental, since I am a district historian. With the report, it can be more than 1,000 words. So that would depend on how long the historian with the report should be.
That I don't know, because I am not I'm not
Mhm.
I haven't been the historian, so I don't want to misspeak. That would probably be a question I would have you reach out to the historian if it's not listed on the mid-year report form.
It's not.
Is
Then
it
I
not
would,
in the code?
I can look at that again.
It should be in the
sup-
code.
supplementals aren't required for mid-year reporting.
No,
It's
but
only for year end.
I know, but last year they said that my essay that I sent along with my video report, when they explained what the units in my district did, they said that it was too long.
Mm.
That's the only way why I am asking.
I think there's something in code. I'm going to have to look.
Okay, I can look in the code too. Thank you.
Let's see.
okay, and then Debbie had her hand up, and I put it
Yeah.
down accidentally, but Debbie, your question?
Okay, well, it's funny because Marion, I'm also asking about the historian report. But my ask is because my unit does not have anyone that will do historian. But and this is not against anybody, a chairman or anything, but I would hope that a lot of people would look that over. I mean, it's asking on a separate sheets of paper, and they must have 20, 25 things that you're to comment on, plus 12 questions you're to comment on that go, and they talk about everything else, plus sending in pictures and doing who, what, why, where, when, and how. So I have all my reports done for my unit except for historian and community service, because those are the two killer ones that you have to plug in all the different things. And so I don't think my unit's the only one struggling with that, but those are the two I see that I wish could be made a little bit simpler.
I don't see that in the code.
I don't either.
So that probably should be added in.
National has it though.
Do they? Okay. Yeah. We'd have to go back and look at theirs.
I don't think it's in our code, but that national does have it.
Yeah.
That's where
Yeah,
that 1,000-word limit came from.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it's not in our code.
Right.
Well, Lori had the question about supplemental information. As Madam President mentioned, it is not required for mid-year, but a supplemental is essentially when you're giving more of the story behind the statistical information that is on the form itself, on the mid-year report form. So if you have units that provide extra information, I would highly encourage you as a district chairman or officer to try and try your hand at a supplemental with giving some extra information. It definitely would be very well welcomed, by a department chairman to get a little bit more information, because while national doesn't require like that actual mid-year report form, we are still required to give an update of some capacity to our Western Division chairman so that they can still go and say what's being done. So the more information that you can provide based off of what you receive from your units, then that really helps the next person in line, which is the department chairman, to be able then to get a bigger story of, or better, clear picture of what's happening in California for us to be able to pass it up to Western Division for it then to go higher. And again, remember, anything you can do now, it's that brain dump, it's that paying it forward so you don't have to try and remember at the end of year. If you get some of it down now, then you have something to reference in one spot for what you want to include in your end of year reports. So,
And
And
also,
most,
department chairmen are required to give floor reports at DEC. So any extra information that you can glean from your unit reports would be lovely to have to report on.
thank you,
and
Madam
most
President,
national
for that
chairmen
lovely
will,
reminder.
most national chairmen will tell you that they will take stuff that you send in throughout the year. It doesn't have to be a particular date, and it's better if you send it when it happens because you remember more about it, and it's a better story.
Fantastic. And hopefully that answered the question. Let me go up. I see the chat is again. Am I going to be doing a supplemental workshop and when? Yes, Tracy, we are. Remember when we were in the unit one, everybody was like, yes, yes. So it will not be right now. It will likely be more timely, planned probably for, I want to say we were saying March-ish,
March.
maybe into April, but April would be kind of pushing
That's
it.
pretty close.
But probably in March, we will be doing a supplemental workshop. Um, and I believe I should be able to combine unit and district at the same time because the concept is the same. I did break this one up with just doing the report forms because you guys are all consolidating things versus the unit is the generator of the information. Um, but supplemental will be done together, and look for it, information coming out for it to be held in March. So with that, after today, if you have any questions on completing or submitting your district mid-year report, please reach out to your department chairman. They're going to be able to give you information specific to the program that you're working on. So for Marion, your question about historian, that's a historian question. Lean on them. They also need the feedback of, like Joan, I think it was Joan said, of like how much is being asked. So, or if something is confusing on the form, talk to your department chairman. And that's great feedback for us because if there's something confusing and we're hearing it from a different point of view, we have time to amend the end of year report to make it clear for everyone later. And if you have any questions about leadership trainings, workshops, future topics like you want, such as the supplemental writing, please feel free to contact me. My contact information is listed below. The link for today's meeting will be going out probably before I head to bed tonight. And it will be on YouTube. Continue to please, spread the word. Have, anybody that that wasn't here today, ask them as well to, check it out. And I appreciate all and any feedback. So with that, everyone, thank you so much for coming tonight. I hope you found this beneficial. Maybe took something, that you didn't know, or hearing it again helped refresh it. But I do appreciate all of your time, energy, and spending the last hour with me. So that's everything.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Rebecca.
You're welcome.